Hello, Ray. Thank you so much for joining me on the World Vegan Travel Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm thrilled to have you on the podcast, Ray, talking about a city, the capital of California, that is Sacramento. And you have lived in Sacramento for a long time. We're going to be asking you lots of questions as a local to Sacramento that are going to help vegan travelers to Sacramento. But before we get into all of that, why don't you tell us what it is that you do in the vegan space?
Well, I actually make cookies. I'm a big time cookie maker. I've been around for 30 years making vegan cookies. One of the reasons why, I'll tell you just in a nutshell, I became a cookie maker was because the lack of vegan cookies at the time were unheard of. I mean, there was basically none. So that for me, being a kind of a foodie, there's no cookies, there's lack of cookies and lack of restaurants. I will tell you that much. And that's what we're here to talk about.
Fantastic. And I'm curious, what is the name of your cookie brand and how do you sell them? Are you selling them wholesale to cafes or are they just available in the Sacramento area?
I'm national. There's sunflowerbaking.com. My first company was the Alternative Baking Company. So more people may know about that as a vegan cookie company. It's one of the first founding vegan cookie in the United States. But for the most part, now it's Sunflower Baking Company. And that's how I really got my start with being more of a foodie, never knowing that I was going to be a foodie. I think that we kind of become vegan snobbies a little bit when it becomes this whole restaurant thing, trying to find something that we love and like wherever we go is always a little bit of a challenge, or was. But now it's different, far different than it used to be 30 years ago. I've been vegan 30 years too, by the way.
Amazing. That is a very long time. I'm sure the scene has changed. Something that I've noticed, the longer I've been vegan and the better the restaurants are, I'm finding I'm getting more and more fussy and particular about the kind of food that I wanted. 10 years ago, I would be satisfied with a tomato pasta in a restaurant. But these days, I want to be spending my money on something that I would not be able to cook at home. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you, I know it's no longer just a spaghetti factory where it used to be the go-to. Do you know a spaghetti factory over there?
Have it in Canada too.
Do you really? Oh, okay. I still go there. I mean, I love that place still, even today, because it has great spaghetti. It's a mainstream, easy to go to place. We have a lot of them here.
For sure. But I know there are some other options as well.
There is.
So, of course, we don't just go to Sacramento because there is amazing food, but I know you're really keen to talk about your favorite restaurants and how the vegan scene is in Sacramento. So tell us about that. How is it?
Well, thank goodness for the internet, because it's really brought us all together with meetups and groups and more people just sharing their ideas about food. Trader Joe's is somewhere we all shop now. It's an entirely different landscape, I should say, of food. When I started, I was happy to have, like you said, oatmeal pasta with marinara sauce. But now we have pretty much everything under the sun. We have full burgers here, plant-based powers here. We have the Himalayan vegan organic restaurant, Zest in the Rockland area. We have a lot of stuff. I was a burger guy. So I got so frustrated. I had my own restaurant for about 5 years, and I was very happy with it. I probably gained a few pounds from having my own restaurant. That's one of the funny thing is, as I started to grow as a vegan, I had lost about 95 pounds. But then when I started finding all the good food over the years, I started gaining some weight back because it all became available. The fake mayonnaise for burgers, the burger patties. French fries, of course, is always a favorite for us. French fries and popcorns were always one of our go-tos as vegans when we go anywhere, right? Yeah, I have to fancy some French fries at these places because I love potatoes, so I'm a big potato fanatic. But I did have a burger restaurant at one time for about 5 years, and it did very well. At the time, I couldn't afford the rent anymore. The owner was raising the rent, so I said, I think it's probably time to get out. But I regret not continuing. I wish I had, because I absolutely loved the burgers that I made. I actually adopted the restaurant. I took it over from somebody who was going out of business, and I just thought I would take a gamble at it because I loved it so much. So I'm a big foodie in regards to that. Now we have tacos. We even have vegan, a fully taco place, a Bambi's Taco which I just recently found to have become obsessed over. Being that I have a Mexican background, I love tacos. Chorizo is a big deal. The funny thing is, I'm talking about all this and my mouth is watering, which is sad because even though I eat a lot of cookies, I still love cookies and I still love eating out. I'm a big foodie when it comes to eating out. So it's evolved over the 30 years.
Amazing. So maybe it could be kind of fun if I name a type of food and you can share your favorite recommendations for that. Okay, number one, best restaurant for a fancy date night and why it's your favorite.
Now, the question is whether or not it has to be fully vegan. Now, that's the question.
Not necessarily.
There's a couple of my favorite fancy restaurants. I have to tell you, I love pasta, but Il Fornaio is one of the most fanciest vegan places that I've ever been to. They have a lot of vegan options. Il Fornaio, downtown Sacramento, is really great. Then I would have to say the Veg Cafe and Bar is a little bit on the more casual side, but it is definitely somewhere to take a date for sure on J Street.
And what's the vibe like there?
The vibe, it's more Thai food. It's a Thai food place. It used to be one of my go-tos. Even when I had my own restaurant, it was on J Street in Sacramento, I would always go to that place because the food was so delicious. And I'd even take dates there and people there, all my friends there, just because it was so good. Thai food was probably one of the things that I became close to as a vegan because Thai food, it was very easy to be vegan. In fact, I had heard it one time, I have to confirm this, but the Buddhists separate their foods. I don't know if you knew that or not. They separate their meat. So I felt very trustworthy towards these. And I've never been sick. I've never had a problem. But Thai food is one of my go-to.
All right. Okay. So we've got date night covered. What about a place to buy food for a picnic in the park? Like a sandwich or a salad bowl or something like that.
There was a place, I think Andy Nguyen's. That's a very good place to take to go. I love that place. Banh mi has become a favorite of mine. I love banh mi. I was really hesitant for the longest time to try that type of sandwich, but it's one of my favorite sandwiches because you can take it to go. And you could pack it away and take it on a picnic with you. And along with some spring rolls and some vegan egg rolls, that's my go-to lunch if I had to take it out on a picnic.
Fantastic. All right. And best coffee and cookies?
Well, come on now. I mean, cookies, of course, would be my own. However, I don't sell a lot of them here locally, with the exception of a couple of places. There's a place called Zest Cafe. They have a lot of great coffee and they carry my cookies there. But I would have to say there are a lot of great coffee places that all carry some kind of vegan products. In fact, there's a company called Sugar Plum Bakery who is in most of the places in Sacramento, with the exception of the Starbucks and stuff. We don't even have anything in Starbucks. It's very hard to get stuff vegan in Starbucks. It's kind of a sad thing, and maybe I should do something about it someday. But they have one Impossible sandwich there. I don't think is prominent. I think that they need to have more cookies. But for the most part, Temple Coffee is great coffee, you know. But if everybody would stop with the upcharge, I would feel a little better. You know what I mean? The upcharge.
Oh, I know. Tell me about it.
Do they do that in Canada?
Yeah, they do it all over the world.
What is wrong with these people? It's like when you order pizza and you say, I don't want any cheese, they're not going to charge you less. You know what I mean? They'll still charge you more. That's the upcharge for you.
Yes, it's a bit of a bone of contention. It's not a very vegan thing to say, but it's a bit of a frustration for sure, because I'm sure many people would want to choose non-dairy milks, even if they're not vegan, but it's more expensive. Interestingly, Starbucks in Japan is really vegan friendly. They have 4 or 5 really great options there that change regularly. That's quite fun. Okay, so Temple Coffee, that is great. My other category is best place to go for like comfort food.
Comfort food? I'm going to have to say Mexican. Mexican food is my comfort food. There's a couple of new places here that have just popped up, and I can't think of the name. They're so new, but there's actually several Mexican restaurants in Sacramento that I go to, and there's one in Davis. But the El Centro Vegan Taqueria. I'm a terrible Mexican, by the way. El Cantero, which means the flowers. They are purely vegan. They're in Sacramento as well. El Cantero. They are delicious. This is terrible that we're thinking of this and we're talking about this because I'm kind of hungry too. Big plate of nachos is my thing. In fact, I was thinking I might get crazy someday if I get the money to open up my own tamale shop. You know what a tamale is?
Isn't it something wrapped in corn husks?
Yes, it's a corn husk, and that is my comfort food. They're very difficult to make because it's a huge hassle, and that's why they're even a little bit more rare. But I'll tell you that a tamale place is going to be my best friend. I will tell you that much. That and pizza. I love pizza. Big on pizza. That's my comfort.
Great. My last question in this category is ice cream. Is there a good place to get ice cream? I know Sacramento can be really hot in summer. So
Yes.
is there a good place for ice cream?
31 Flavors used to carry a couple of ice creams. And 31 Flavors, there's probably one there, right? Baskin Robbins.
I don't know that brand. Oh, Baskin Robbins. Yes.
Yeah, Baskin Robbins. And you know whose father is the Robbins guy, right? John Robbins.
Of course.
Of course, he keeps saying that he's not taking any of the money, but he should. But Baskin Robbins, they used to carry it. Otherwise, it's far and few between, if ever, that anyone has ice cream in Sacramento. It's sad, but true. In fact, the ice cream company that was here went out of business. They decided they had had enough. Conscious Creamery. They used to be great at everything they did. They make cookie sandwiches, ice cream sandwiches, and all that stuff. But they decided that they had had enough. They just couldn't keep it afloat. It's very difficult. Why? Ice cream is one of the most difficult products to make. It's so seasonal. It does get freezing cold here. It gets cold. There's a good amount of months where it's cold, and it's hard to go to get ice cream. Otherwise, you just get it at your Whole Foods, buy it in a pint. That's about where I get it.
Get a spoon.
Get a
take it
spoon.
to the park and dig in.
That's right. Exactly. Sadly, but true.
I love it. I love it. All right. So I think all of our listeners hearing this are confident that they are definitely not going to go hungry if they choose to go to Sacramento. So they're not going to die of starvation or die of a protein deficiency while they go to Sacramento, but they probably were going to Sacramento for other reasons, whether it's just for fun, for history, or sometimes people, I guess, would go there for business reasons as well. So I'm curious, like within Sacramento, and we can talk about just outside of Sacramento too, why would someone want to come to Sacramento apart from the food?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of history here in Sacramento. It is truly, to me, one of the most amazing places still that I can think of, only because of the gold discovery. The gold discovery, which was nearby, Coloma, was a huge ordeal. And it just founded everything. It started everything. It was really the gold rush of the times when it started to be built. There's so many fascinating places here. There's the Sutter's Fort that was moved here. That's downtown. That is a very cool place to see how it used to be back in the Wild West. They do a lot of demonstrations there. It's one of my favorite places. I've taken a lot of people there and I've had always a good time to look and be grateful for what you have, because these people lived hard life. Talk about trying to be vegan back in the Wild West days. You might starve. We really take life and the water coming out of our faucets for granted. But for the most part, yes, I would say surrounding areas. We have a lot of great museums here, junior museums here. Go to Coloma if you ever come to Sacramento and you have a chance to. It's about an hour from Sacramento. But for the most part, it's a very quaint place to visit. If you want to know history of California, it's a very big place for history.
You mentioned some museums. Could you talk more about those?
Yes, the Sutter's Fort Museum was John Sutter's creation. It's funny, there's been some specials on it. It was not here before. They literally moved it from, I believe, somewhere up east of Coloma, which is about an hour away, where they discovered gold in the river. One of the most interesting things I think about Sacramento was how apparently there used to be gold just sitting in the river where people could walk and never even notice. All the natives who used to live here never even knew what the gold was, but apparently it was so abundant that you could just walk in the river and see it on the ground, which is completely amazing to me. I wish it were like that today, but I'd be 200 years old. But for the most part, yes, I'm going to say that the old Sacramento is one of the best places to go as well. There's an incredible railroad museum. I don't know if you've ever been to a railroad museum before, but the trains are massive. and they are works of art of their own. We also have a lot of shipping. We have the Queen Mary, I think it is, but we have a couple of boats that are sitting docked as restaurants now. They used to be functioning, but they're not anymore. But the Old Sacramento is a really nice place. It's a slightly vegan friendly, sorta. Old Sacramento is so old that it's probably still stuck in its ways, whereas it still serves the mainstream. But I don't really get out there that often. I used to be as a boy, but as an adult, I only go out there maybe once or twice a year. But it is not as vegan friendly as the new downtown Sacramento. You want to go look at history, Old Sacramento is the place to go.
Yeah, I've noticed with places like museums and more sort of places that are catering just for tourists, they're often not as vegan friendly. They just don't have to go to the effort because they know that those places will be full because they're the only option nearby. So yeah. I'm not surprised that they're not so vegan friendly. That would be the time to bring a sandwich, I'm guessing.
That's it. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry to say that, but you may have to stop by Taco Bell on the way in. You know what I mean? It's easy. Los Angeles is my go-to spot, though. Whenever I get hankering for food, you can eat out in LA every day for a year and have something different. So I'm always in Los Angeles, California. And I'm telling you, that is the mecca of vegan food restaurants. And I love it.
Yes, I've been to Los Angeles a few times and I've had a few guests from LA as well, and it just looks amazing. So history is a great reason to go to Sacramento. Yeah. Something I'm curious about is what is like the cultural vibe of Sacramento? Of course, it's the capital of California. And sometimes that can mean things can be a little bit lackluster culturally. I'm curious, are there lots of shows and concerts and festivals? What's that like?
It's still kind of up and coming, so to speak. It has the Golden One Arena, and it's only been around maybe 5 years, but it's very much a melting pot of people. In fact, when I first became vegan, I had really not been around a lot of different people. So when I started shopping at the co-op, then I realized the diversity of what Sacramento was. And I was so more proud of Sacramento because I realized I could see everyone in the same spot downtown where I worked, which was in a co-op. And I was like, oh my gosh, an Indian gentleman, African-American, Mexican, gays, lesbian. There was everybody of every shape and every size. Maybe I had been shut in, or I'll tell you, when I became vegan, when my eyes were opened, it made me realize more of myself, believe it or not, to try to understand who I was. So when you change your diet, your eyes are opened more because you kind of lose things. You're losing stuff, but you're gaining way more. And that goes for restaurants. You're going into the restaurant, you have to be more creative as a vegan. But you know what? You're going to be so glad that you did it because it expands the horizons of your tastes. And that's what it did for me. I'm still so proud of that today. The fact that I would have probably never gone to Thai food. I would have never have gone to Ethiopian food. I was very narrow-minded, I think, before I was vegan. But now it's like, oh my gosh, the world is my vegan oyster, I guess you could say. You know?
Yeah.
Sacramento was my vegan oyster.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that when I became vegan, I started eating so many more different things and different cuisines, and I sought them out. And yeah, my life is richer as a result of that. And I agree, my mentality changed. And of course, that has had applications onto my regular life and other ways I saw the world too. I agree. All right, so you're saying that it's quite a diverse population.
Yes.
Is there a really interesting like live music scene? Are there lots of festivals, vegan or not vegan, maybe like jazz festivals or anything like that?
There used to be a huge jazz festival, but I think they discontinued it because it was just too out of control. But they may bring it back. We have a lot of jet or airplane shows. We have a lot of those because there's two major bases. There's always jets flying around here like crazy during at least 2 times a year. It's really fascinating. Then as far as the music scene goes, it's all of a downtown thing. I'm not really keyed into that because I'm older now, and now it's the young folk. It may have been different. I'm 56. I feel 16 still, but I don't act entirely 16 all the time. For the most part, I know that there's still people out there around my age who are still partying it up. And downtown Sacramento is definitely a destination place to go somewhere. I just don't know where.
Fantastic. And what is the best time of year climate-wise to go? Because I would have thought it could get quite hot in summer.
It does get hot here, but it stays cool downtown. I would say the best time to come would be between August and December. Those are my favorite.
August and December. Okay, so fall.
Yeah.
Got it. Fantastic. If that's the best time to go, are there any times to avoid going? Maybe certain public holidays are really, really busy, or maybe there is a time when the climate is just too difficult to be able to do anything fun?
I could never say that there was an entirely bad time to come. It's not like Seattle, where it rains 85% of the time. It's not like that at all. It's not Vegas, where it's 110 degrees when it's hot. It gets 110 here, don't get me wrong. I would say that Sacramento is a very comfortable place to be. It is within the range of feel good. It's always definitely a good time to come to Sacramento. I can't really diss my city in regards to its weather because I love the weather. It's perfect.
Fantastic. All right. If people were to come to Sacramento, are there any sort of interesting excursions that they could do outside of the city or any really cool activities?
I'd say no, not in Sacramento, so to speak. There are some regular stuff to do here. There's a little bit of go-kart racing. There's a place where you can go like a fake skydiving. Have you ever seen those fake skydiving places where you get in a suit and you fly? They have two of them here, I think. There's some hiking you can do that you have to go kind of out of town to do the hiking. There's a lot of college university action going on. There's the Sacramento State is good. And it's kind of a semi-college town. There's always something happening here in Sacramento for the most part, but I like that it's calm. You know, it's not crazy. We have some homeless here. Everyone seems to have homeless, but for the most part, everything seems to be in control. I've been happy here. I've been here all my life, 56 years. I don't really have any complaints. I've been doing business in here and just watching it grow. That's what I'm most proud of is from 30 years from the time that I became vegan, how much more friendly it is in so many ways. I'm going to say that it's because of vegan that this place is probably friendlier.
Incredible. Yeah, it certainly does sound like an interesting city. Around Sacramento, I have this idea in my head. Maybe it's an assumption that you can confirm or disrupt a little bit or argue against. But I kind of have this idea that Sacramento is very, very dry, almost like desert in terms of vegetation. Is that true?
Let me tell you a little tidbit about Sacramento. I know this is going to sound strange to anybody who's listening to this, but it is second to only Paris for having the most trees in a city.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sacramento is second to Paris for the most trees in a city, if you can believe it.
Wow. I didn't even know that statistic about Paris as well. That's really surprising to me. I would have thought that Sacramento would just had a few shrubs and everything was dusty and brown, but I'm happy to stand corrected on that matter. All right, Ray, so thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Well Vegan Travel podcast. I'm so excited to learn a little bit more about Sacramento, the capital of California. I think sometimes Sacramento is overlooked compared with San Francisco and Los Angeles and maybe San Diego, but actually you've proved today that there is so much going on and that people can go there for fun, or if they're going there for business or for government business, perhaps they're going to have a delicious time and there's plenty to keep them busy for a while. So thank you so much for taking the time to share this with our listeners. Ray, before we say goodbye, could you please share again a little bit about your business and where people can find your cookies and how they can order them and where they can buy them?
Yes, I would go to the site startaveganbusiness.com. That is where everything you can find me, social media, my cookies. They're on my own website and Amazon. I'm nationwide too seller. I sell everywhere. I have thousands of accounts everywhere. I just don't know where they are because of distribution. But for the most part, startaveganbusiness.com is where you can find everything.
Fantastic. And what's your favorite cookie flavor that you produce?
So my go-to is always chocolate chip, still to this day.
Yeah, a good chocolate chip cookie can't be beat.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you again, Ray. I wish you all of the best with your cookie business and keep enjoying Sacramento. It seems like you love it. And thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Well Vegan Travel podcast.
Thank you for having me.